Everybody, thanks for coming in. It's episode 11 of Not Another Sports Podcast. You got me, SQ, and you got V Will tonight. We'll have Big Jew in popping in and out most of them for most of the show. But we can start off with the first topic of the night. You know, it's pretty crazy what happened down in Atlanta, Georgia over the weekend. Cam Newton was jumped at his 707 tournament. The youth have really gotten out of control with this type of behavior. Watching that footage of the ordeal shows just how these children are being raised. And it's like the question really is what like what what do you really what is really going on right now? What do you think is really the problem with these youth right now, especially when it comes to being respectful to the elders?
Well, let me it might be a misunderstanding. It wasn't. It was first of all, it was Cam Newton was playing against his team was playing against another team, but the team that he was playing against was they was coached by two brothers that used to be in his organization. So
Okay.
according to the two brothers, Cam Newton, they was talking trash back and forth, you know, the day before. Cam Newton was talking about his team was going to beat their team and so on. So it was a lot of trash talking going on back and forth. You know what I mean? And the two brothers, I think the last name was Brown. Um,
Mm-hmm.
um, they beat Cam Newton's team. So
Yeah.
Cam Newton was talking trash like, I taught y'all everything I know and all y'all know and things of that nature. That was the day before. So the next day, I don't think they played, but it was hit, Cam Newton's team was about to play, or the other team was about to play, and his team wasn't playing. Maybe they got eliminated. So anyway, it was some steps leading up to the field or something like that. So Cam
Mm-hmm.
Newton was at the top of the steps talking trash to one of the brothers, and I guess it escalated because
Yeah.
I guess one of the brothers couldn't take what he was saying, and he put his hands on Cam Newton. And so Cam Newton put his hands back on him, and they started tussling. That's when the other brother came up and tried to steal him. So he was, that's where all the commotion started. But so it was over trash talking that escalated throughout the weekend. So it was a bad example for the kids who were being coached by these guys, because they seeing two adults, three adults actually getting into some kind of fisticuff over trash talk, which
Mm-hmm.
is ridiculous. You know what I mean? So that's as far as the incident getting started. That's what precipitated it. It was trash talking going on the whole weekend because those guys used to be with Cam Newton's program, and they branched off and did their own thing. So now they were like rivals, I guess. Their
Okay.
17 was playing against his 7-on-17, and I guess their team was getting the best of them from my information, from my you know, information that I received. I could be wrong as far as who was beating who, but it really doesn't matter. What I
Yeah.
mean, if you talking trash, you know, leave it at that. Don't escalate it to where you putting your hands on somebody for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Especially when you're trying to be example, to kids and everything. So it was just something that got out of hand. But I think the brothers went on and they apologized, for the incident, saying it shouldn't have never came to that, which is true. What I
Yeah.
mean? But he was saying he saw his brother being attacked. So, you see your brother getting attacked, and I think it was his little brother. He was the older brother that threw the
Mm-hmm.
punch. And his little brother was the one that was, him and Cam Newton was getting into it. So he was protecting his old brother. And, but people broke it up and everything. So it wasn't really, no whole bunch of scuffling, but enough for somebody to get it on tape and put it out there
Yeah.
saying Cam was in a fight, a 7-on-7 football game, which is ridiculous. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause I've heard a lot of things too. I heard something similar to what you was talking about, but what it really comes down to is it really a good look for us? Like, is it a good look for us right now? Because Cam Newton is, he's a polarizing figure right now. Like, he got his own thing, 4 from 1 right now. Shout out to him. But he's one of those polarizing figures and like right now in media and everything. He got his podcast. He was on Gail's show the other night, like a couple weeks before this incident happened. But it all goes back to like man, that man was taking time out of his day and all that just to hold these camps and all that stuff. And trash talking, like you said, should just stuck to that. Like, if you're gonna trash talk, just trash talk and leave it on the field. Don't
Right.
bring it off the field. Right. But what that also raises another question, is like just by the view of the footage that they got out of there, because it went viral. It's
Right.
like what do you think is going to be like going forward, like his image? Like, you think it's going to do anything to his image?
I mean, it's possible, it could, affect his image as far as, how people look at. But I mean, people already got their, perceptions of Cam Newton, how they, feel about him, one way or another. You know what I mean? So it might, the people who already have a negative image of him, it'll just add to it. Other people who, don't have a negative image, as far as Cam Newton goes, maybe that might, cause him to have one, at this point. But it's not a good look for us as, as black people, getting into altercations over youth sports. It's just not a good look in general. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
it's nothing positive about it. You know what I mean? Because
yeah,
you arguing and fighting over youth sports, which is a problem in our society right now. You got fans, want to attack officials, you know, as far as coaches, going, attacking each other. It's just getting out of hand. Where it's a lot of disrespect, over a game, of a sporting event, which it doesn't need to go to those lengths. Somebody got to win, somebody got to lose. You know what I mean? And if you win with dignity, then you got with dignity. You need to lose with dignity as well. You know what I mean? And then if
yeah,
you berating, kids, you a grown person and you berating kids on whatever endeavor sports they playing, you bad mouthing kids. That's what kind of person that does that make you? You know what I mean? And
yeah,
then you're supposed to be setting an example for these kids. You know what I mean? And that type
mm-hmm,
of behavior sets the wrong example. You know what I mean? So, people going, some people, it's not going to change their view of Cam Newton. Other
yeah,
people, it might. It might enhance, whatever negative thoughts they had about him. This might enhance it. And the people who ride with him, they probably say, the man, was just defending himself. So it's going, it's
yeah,
going, it's going to be two sides to it either way. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
And like just being on the outside looking in, just from my perception, like it's a bad look for us as like you said, as a community, as black people. But it's like it's more on, like, it's not really on him, like it's on the people. It's like the people that were around him. It's like those guys that were engaging with him. Like you said, they had all this trash talking and all that, and then to get in the altercation, like, as a coach, you're supposed to be the example for your team.
Right.
If you're out there acting like that, and then that pretty much gives the kids like the illusion that this is how I should act whenever I'm having an altercation with somebody. I should turn violent, which is not what should happen. You should try to diffuse the situation, which is what they should have done, but it didn't happen that way. and that's what we really got to get better at, as far as like when we talk about resolving conflict. Like I've like resolving conflict has been like one of our biggest problems when it comes to stuff, because a lot of times we like to take stuff to an extreme and go a little overboard. Like, granted, like, thank God that this didn't come to no type of like real violence, like weapons and all that stuff, because that's where a lot of times this type of stuff goes to.
Right.
Like, and it's just like, what do we what can we really do, like to try to stop some of this stuff? Like, it's like, do we need to like, these people need to be like going to some type of counseling or something? Like, it's getting bad. It's getting bad.
But like I said, everybody's disposition, you might not, everybody can't be a coach or be, a mentor of, youth, as far as teams and, big brothers. Everybody's not meant to do that. You might want to do that, be a
Hmm.
coach and, help youths out, which is fine. That's a good and positive thing. But you you need to have a certain mentality as far as setting an example, and everybody that wants to be a coach, sometimes they don't need to be a coach, because
Hmm.
they might not have the proper disposition to be a coach or a leader of young kids or young men. So, it's I don't know what the solution is, or when it comes to those type of things. We just got to be better as human beings. We can't, everything. You can't take everything, to heart, where we want to be disrespectful, and that's where I think the problems come in, when it becomes some person feels as though they're being disrespected, and once you get to that level where you think somebody's disrespecting you, you want to take it to another level, or you want to try to gain your respect back, by whatever means you feel as though necessary, which, sometimes leads to violence. So, I think we just gotta be better as people, as far as when it comes to, when we have disputes, somebody's going to be wrong, somebody's going to be right, or you going to disagree with that person, or not, you agree or disagree, we just, if we can't come to a resolution, then we just agree to disagree and just go our separate ways, leave it at that, and not escalate it to where we using violence. Let's
Hmm.
try to be a bad example for the kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just to, but I don't think it was really with no fight. I mean, unless it was more film. All I seen was him,
well
Cam Newton, holding all five people, holding it down. He ain't even really. I ain't see Cam Newton
well
get hit.
somebody threw a punch at one of like I said, the guy
Ain't lying
thought,
nothing.
yeah, well, he might
If
not
anything,
land
Cam Newton
still.
handled that situation the best way he could. He didn't. I
Yeah,
didn't see
yeah,
him throw no
he
punches.
he defended himself. He didn't throw any punches, but he defended
He
himself,
just he
and it
he
was
just
abused.
just escalated everything. Even when people was trying to hit him, he didn't. He could have. I think he was a good example for what he did, because he could have easily put his hands on people, but he didn't. He just escalated the situation and was calm about it, and probably let bygones be bygones, and gave the kids a good example of that men can get into it, and it cannot go left. Like how Marcus said, that it don't gotta lead to gun violence. It don't gotta lead to actual fist fight. It could just, the misunderstanding can be understood. But Cam was a good example, showing the bigger person.
Yeah, I mean, he
Not just
still
because he
he
got not just because he got millions of dollars. You could say, yeah, he got millions of dollars. He ain't really do nothing stupid out there. But either way, he could have. He had a right to. He had like about four people trying to hit him, and he didn't
Yeah,
do
I
nothing.
mean, like I said, he didn't. I didn't see him throwing any punches, nothing. Like, he was just like fending people off, and then and other people came, in between him, and pretty much broke it up before it got into like an all-out brawl. Like I say, he handled it the best way he could, but you know, however he handled it, it shouldn't even came to that. You know what I mean? Because those from what the guys, the brothers that were involved in it, they were the ones who threw the first punch. You know what I mean? As far
Yeah.
as, you know, the younger brother putting his hands on Cam Newton or vice versa or whatever, and his older brother coming in to protect him. So, there's always two sides to the sword. There's always two sides to it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Now, just to put yourself, like, just say we put ourselves in Cam Newton's shoes, like when it comes to like what happened and everything. Like, if you were him, and this whole incident happened and went viral and all that, um, would you want to still work with those kids? A couple bad apples. I think I'm gonna still go out there and still try to make a difference for these guys. It's my hometown. We we have we have quite a bit of influence here. So I don't want to make it seem like one incident is going to stop me from trying to do better for my community or do better for the youth. Because it's a lot of things that when it comes to these young guys, especially the ones coming up now, they have a lot of sense of entitlement, and they feel like they can just talk to people any type of way. But you got to be that influence and that pretty much that voice of reason so that they be doing better. But if you were him, would you still do this 7-on-7 tournament?
I think I would. It's apparently he's been doing this for several years. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't just abruptly you know end it due to this one incident because I haven't heard of any other type of incident like this as far as this his 7-on-7 tournament goes. Haven't heard of any other incident where there's been people, trying to fight each other or nothing like that. So, I think he should still continue doing what he's doing. You know what I mean? You can't just abruptly give up on the kids, that he's been mentoring and dealing with. I mean, that's an outlet for them. You know what I mean? Then, if he stopped doing what he's doing, they could be a detriment to them as far as, them getting into other things other than sports or something like else. So, I think he still should continue. Short answer, he still should continue doing what he's doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Don't let this one incident stop him.
yeah.
All right, I think we
And
spent too much time on that. So let's get to the basketball.
Yeah.
so right now, the Eastern Conference has a huge gap at the top with the Celtics having 40 plus wins. Who in the East poses the biggest threat to the Celtics? Cleveland, Milwaukee, New York, and Philly are fighting for position in the second to the fifth spot in the conference. Who in the West has a chance to really knock them off?
In the West or in the
You
East?
mean the East? You mean in the
In
East?
the East. Oh, my bad. The
Oh, the
East.
a healthy Bucks and a healthy Knicks got the chance.
Yeah, I pretty much I'll probably
And the
co
Cavs could the Cavs could beat them too. I mean, it's just that the Cavs just look too
I don't,
healthy,
I don't,
and
I
if
don't think
Evan
I don't,
Mobley and
I
they
don't think
and
the
Jared
Cavs.
Allen show up.
I don't think the Cavs ready. As far as to dethrone Boston. You know what I mean? They might give them. They might win a game here or there if they get a chance to play them. But as far as them
They
beating them,
match up.
seven,
I'm just saying,
seven,
based off
six,
matchups, they match up with them very good. Those
yeah,
three teams match up with them good, fully healthy, and all of them playing good, playing the right way, playing their game on their A game. They the three teams I only can see beating them. I don't see the Heat beating them, upsetting them this year. Only way the Heat could do it if Terry Rozier kicks it up to another level. Terry Rozier and Tyler Hero, they took the load off Jimmy Butler. I don't see
yeah.
that happening though.
I
I
think
think that'll happen next season.
yeah. I think the Knicks and Milwaukee definitely have a shot. You know what I mean? And Philly, if they get Embiid back, they could be. They could sneak in there as well. You know what I mean? So I think
I think it beat
those
out
three
next season.
those three teams have a shot at beating them if they're fully healthy. I think they have a shot of beating Boston.
I don't think the Celtics are all that. I'm not saying like they should be. They should be. They're not ready to. When Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown figure it out, they'll probably be the next duo to three-peat. They're not ready. I don't think they're ready fully dominate because they're still learning. They still got to. The East going to get tougher, better and better. The Pistons not going to always suck, so they going to dominate. They still young. I don't think they even 28 yet, so they still got. They got. I think when they about like 28, 30, that's when they'll dominate the way that we expect them to. But right now, it's just you never know because Trey Young upset at a bunch of teams when he went on this playoff run, making the East Conference Finals. So you never really know. The playoffs is different. Now we can say that now based off the regular season, but you never know who step up. Some players take that to heart. Like D Mitchell might take that L last year to heart to the Knicks. And he might come back and ball out. Who can guard him? He scored 72 in
Yeah.
a game.
Donovan Mitchell,
And they
mean for
got Darius Garland.
Play for Cleveland, right? Donovan Mitchell for
Yeah.
Cleveland.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and they got I'm just saying, like it's a bunch of
but
teams you just can't count nobody out in the playoffs. You just gotta
right,
see.
but I'm we
But
just
they
we
are
talking about
Celtics are definitely the favorite. But I don't think
we
I think the Celtics very beatable. That's what I'm saying.
right, but we talking about this season. We not talking about
That's what I'm saying. I'm talking about this season. I think it's a couple teams. It's a lot of teams that can beat them, but
no,
I
it's
think
not.
they're very beatable.
I don't think it's a lot of teams that can beat them. I think those three teams have the best chance of beating them. Those other teams that's in the playoffs in the East, I don't think they have it. They don't have a chance of beating the Celtics. I mean, maybe the Pacers, maybe, maybe, but none of those other teams.
Yeah.
I don't think in a 7-game series, not with Boston having home court advantage in all the series. I don't think they, I don't think they
Because
have it.
as of
But when,
right now,
like I
the
said,
Boston's sitting at
we'll
45
see.
and 12.
Yeah. Miami is not going to beat them again. Miami's not going to do that. Not this season. Not with the team that they got. I can't see that happening again.
No,
Yeah. But
I don't see it happening either.
I mean,
I feel like it's a
stranger
real
things have
big
happened.
gap.
Yeah.
I feel
They
like
just
it's
ain't
a
got they ain't
gap.
got enough. They missing that 3-and-D guy from Baltimore, Haynes or that guy. He got in a little accident with like a a car crash or something. So he's been out. And they missing like another solid big. So I just think like this off season is gonna be very big for them. That's why I said next season they'll probably be back in contention. But it's up to that's what I'm saying. You never know. It's the playoffs. Jimmy Butler proved he can do it. It's all about who's gonna step up. So we didn't we but the Celtics are our favorite though. But I just think they beat them. And they
Yeah.
beat them.
Mhm.
Especially if they don't got Porzingis.
Yeah. But I mean, Porzingis been pretty much healthy all this season. This is the first time he pretty much been healthy for a full season. I mean, the season ain't over with yet, but you know this, this the healthiest I've seen him since he probably been in the NBA. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
him and AD having cool years. They playing more games
Yeah. So,
than they usually do. Than they usually did.
right, and that
But
dude.
Porzingis is out on a couple injuries though.
Yeah, but he nothing lingering that's taking him out for several like weeks or months like he usually been out. Most of his injuries take him out for weeks or a month or two, but he hasn't had anything like that. Knock on wood. That's taking him to make him miss a whole bunch of games. Not this season anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
I
that's
feel like
definitely gonna be a factor. And then we keep,
yeah,
we gotta see what Drew Holiday do when he in the playoff. As far as
yeah,
making a play, because when it came down to the stretch, last year, with Marcus Smart, they didn't always make the right play at the end. You know,
yeah. And with
so
Drew
they
Holiday, you get that, you get that extra, you get that defensive guy. You get the guy that can really like control the game and make the right play. And then by having Porzingis, you got better rebounding and all that. So it's like it's a whole lot better team than they had last year. So
yeah,
like you
Nah,
said,
this they
Miami
definitely got it.
Miami doesn't
They
have
definitely
to
got a
beat
better
these guys.
squad.
Like, and then they still got guys coming up. They still got Al Horford and all those veterans and all that stuff. Got guys coming off the bench. You still got the I forgot the guy's name, but Pritchard. They still got him coming off the bench. Then you still got like you got a whole nother. squad coming off the bench that's going to help you guys because when you come playoff time, you probably going 8 deep, at 8 deep, maybe 9 deep at the most.
Yeah.
So those guys that are on the end of the bench right now need to try to get that playing time just in case like they're needed.
Yeah.
Like when it come to Boston. But right now, like I said, they sitting at 45-12, and I think they're playing tonight. And the closest one to them right now is Cleveland
Yeah, they
at
matter
36.
Boston and Philly are playing right now.
Yeah, they play on TNT, right?
Yep.
They play on TNT. I was watching a little bit of it before we got on. I was watching the I don't know why I was watching it, but it was Golden State and Wizards. That Steph Curry didn't even score in the first half, which is like unheard of. I haven't heard of that happening in a long time. You know, it's kind of weird. But that team, that Golden State team has been on a, they on a bit of a streak. They've won like about 9 of their last 11 games, or 10 of their last 12, or something like that. They on a little streak, and they're right there in the 10th spot behind Lakers, because the Lakers are in the ninth spot right now. If the season were to end right now, they'd be in the play-in. And that's something that I think that Golden State and the Lakers should be trying to avoid, because you don't want to be in that play-in tournament. Like, you want to be already solidified. You want to be in that fifth and sixth spot, so you don't got to worry about the play-in. But it's going to be a hard push, because this is the second half of the season and there's less than 30 games left, almost. Like I think after this week, it's gonna be less than 30 games left to play, and it's gonna be a hard push to get to that fifth and sixth spot if they want to do it. But when it comes to who's your pick for the rookie of the year as of right now?
I know. Right now, I think they got Wembanyama. As far as leading the pack, as far as getting that. But that
I
kid
would.
in OKC,
Yeah.
is he's doing his thing. He
I,
definitely got to
it's
get some consideration.
it's Victor Wanyama, but I would pick Brandon Miller though. It's,
Brandon Miller don't have a shot. He don't have a shot of winning
Not
the
over
rookie.
not over Chet. You still gotta remember you got Chet Holmgren.
Yeah, that's the kid I'm talking about. The kid in OKC.
yeah,
Yeah.
It's
but
between
I'm
it's
not
between
gonna
them
pick the
two.
same person though.
Yeah, it's between those two. You know what I mean? And right now, I think most people have Wembanyama in the lead, but Chet Holmgren is doing their thing, and like I said, his team is winning as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's a big he's making a big contribution as far as them winning. Granted, Wembanyama don't really have no whole bunch of help. He putting up his numbers, but him putting
Mm-hmm.
up his numbers ain't helping them win. You know what I mean? That's got to come into play some kind of way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They're
But
sitting at the bottom of the West right now.
yeah,
The Spurs.
yeah, they're gonna be in the lottery again, probably.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey man, this is like, if like looking at that team, looking at the San Antonio Spurs, over the years, the last couple decades, they've won. They've gotten generational talents, and they've been good in the draft, picking guys. Like, who would have really picked those guys that they had on their team, like back in the day, like the Tony Parkers, your Ginobili's. You pick up Bruce Bowen off another team, and then you had Robert Horry on one of those teams, and then you were winning, and then you knocked off a lot of the great teams, and like to get there. I think the Spurs are the only team to win in four different generations, four different decades. They won in the '90s, they won in the 2000s, they won in the 2010s. and they almost won in the 2020s. But it was little, Tim Duncan, his time was over. But right now, if you're looking at that team, it's kind of like dismal because are they like how long is Popovich going to stay there for them like to rebuild? Like, are they going to like is Wemby really that generational talent? Do you really think that Wemby is going to be that generational talent to really put them up and really like make them ascend like in the Western Conference?
Oh yeah, he definitely gonna be that. He definitely has the talent to be just like David Robinson was to them, just like Tim Duncan was to him. He's gonna be that type of player. And I think Popovich will probably hang around probably till they start winning. Once he get them on track to where they're in contention, at least for playoffs, for the next coming years, he'll possibly step down and have somebody else, take over and, lead it. I don't know if he'll be coaching that team if and when they get to a championship, if they do. I don't think he'll be coaching the team. If that happens, I don't think Popovich will be the coach, you know, for that next championship. I don't think he'll be there if they get to the point, which is still up in the air.
They just missing a point guard, real point guard like a Trey Young.
Yeah, they missing more than that.
And they
If
need
they
they
get a
need
real
defense.
point guard, they get a real point guard. Victor Wembanyama scored 25, 8, and 8 in 17 minutes. He's a rookie. So God forbid he don't get injured, he probably be the next Wilt Chamberlain. So like he's really that good. Like
Yeah, but
he
he
put
not.
he put on a little bit more weight. Like you get like Trey Young, like somebody like I'm just saying a real all-star caliber point guard. They can and with Popovich right now, they make the playoffs because they already got solid
Yeah,
team. They just don't have no real point guard or real shooting guard. One or the other. So it's gonna be hard to kind of pull off both. You're gonna have to get like a real
yeah,
Trey Young and draft a real solid. But I think Devin McNexus was a solid guard. They just signed him for like 100 million. So you get like a real and you bring Trey Jones out the bench. You gotta bring somebody who really going like a Chris Paul. You can bring it like a vet Chris Paul,
No,
or you gotta get like a Trey Young.
Chris Paul ain't playing for
Somebody
no.
gonna really get on the ball.
I think this is last stop for us, Chris Paul. He ain't going nowhere. This is last
yeah.
stop. You know what I mean? But I mean,
Yeah,
but what you say makes sense though. Get him
I'm talking about for Popovich to really show him a real example how to contend
yeah,
right
but
now,
he
because he only got about probably 2-3 years.
yeah. Well, like I said, I don't think you might as far as them needing a solid point guard and a shooting guard. I mean, they got some players around them, but the players around them right at this point right now is not enough for them to be contending for a playoff. They add a few more pieces, yeah. And like I said, I think Popovich will be around for them to add those pieces and make it a solid team. And once they get to that point, I think he'll probably step down. He can't coach forever. I mean, he
no,
one of the oldest coaches in the NBA right now, if not the
it's
oldest.
not the oldest. It's not the oldest. Now, I got a question. It's like it's just because I went back and went back and looked at a couple games, stayed up a lot of nights looking at Wembyana's games and all that. There looks like there's a thing of like jealousy among his teammates because they don't look like they really trying to give him the ball. Like he should be the real more focal point of the team. Like he should be getting a lot more touches and all that. But I see a lot of times with these guys when they got the ball in their hands, they looking them off and like passing to someone else. When he's really supposed to be like he's really the star of this team. Even though he might be a rookie, he's the best that you got. And it looks like these guys are really like trying to like get theirs and trying to like showcase their skills and all that. But you got to do that within the offense. And I know Pop is like having like kind of pulling his hair out when it comes to this because he's not used to that. He used to the ball movement and guys getting open shots in the corner. With the big man. Somebody slicing down the middle. Wembanyama can handle the ball as well, but it's like he shouldn't have to. He shouldn't be having to bring the ball up in order for him to touch the ball, but like at least once when they come down the court. Because it's been many times I've just watched, and it's like when they go down the court, Wembanyama don't even touch the ball, and it's like, do you think it's like one of them things where these guys are like, well, why is he just coming here? We've been here for like 2-3 years. We've been playing on the Pop. We should be taking more shots. You think it's a jealousy thing going on among those guys?
I tell you what, if it is, if those guys, other guys are playing like that, they're not gonna be on the team too much longer because Popovich is gonna get rid of those guys if they play. I haven't watched a lot of San Antonio games, you know what I mean, but Wembanyama he's the star, he's the focal point, so he's got to get the ball. Everything has to run through him. There might be certain possessions where he doesn't touch the ball, but pretty much on every possession he should get a touch. Not saying he got to shoot it every time, on every possession, but he at least should get his hands on the ball. And if those guys are playing like that, they won't be on the team. They won't be playing with him too much longer. You know what I mean? Basketball still is a team sport. You know what I mean? So I don't know if like I said, I haven't watched a lot of San Antonio games, so I don't know if they're playing like that or freezing them out or whatever the case may be. But that's not going to work. He's the star. He's the star. So that's Popovich is going to put it into that real quick.
Yeah. It just seems that way, just because like I said, I went back and watched a bunch of tape on them. It just looks that way. Like the body language of these guys when they come out and play, like before tip off, it's like it just looks a certain way. Like you said, I know Pop is probably looking at this too, looking at the game tape after and seeing how these guys are playing in offense. How they looking him off and all that, but he should be definitely should be doing a lot better than that. But let's move on to like the power rankings in the NBA. Right now they have the power rankings 1 through 5. They got Boston as the number 1 in power rankings, Minnesota number 2, OKC number 3,
Your
the LA
screen black.
Clippers. Oh yeah, hold on. You can still hear me though, right?
Yeah.
All right. Once I pose this question, I'm gonna leave and come back in. But right now, like I said, like I left off at OKC being number 3 in the power rankings. The Clippers are number 4, and Denver's number 5. Do you agree with this power rankings, like how they got these guys ranked? And it has nothing to do with conference. It's just who's the best team right now in the league.
Yeah. Go ahead, Jim.
What was the question?
Do you agree with the power rankings that they have out in the NBA right now? The teams that he listed, how they got them listed as far as who's number 1 through 5.
What was the teams? I ain't
You got
really hit.
Boston at number 1.
Yeah.
Minnesota's number 2. OKC's number 3. The LA Clippers are number 4. And Denver's number 5.
Yeah, that sound about right. On paper.
Yeah.
On paper and based off production right now, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much right on point as well. You know what I mean?
I told y'all the Thunder gonna win the championship. Thunder or the Lakers?
I don't know. Remember you saying that? I thought the Lakers were supposed to win the championship.
Yeah,
You're not
the
a
Lakers or the Thunder.
No,
He
don't
said,
switch up now. You're not a real Lakers fan. If you saying OKC gonna win it, they not winning no championship. Not this year. No, not this year. I mean, they going, they gonna surprise. Well, they shouldn't be surprised some people because of how good they're playing this year. But I think they're gonna make some noise in the playoffs, though. It's a possibility they might even go to the championship. But yeah, I think we all pretty much agree on those power rankings. I mean,
Tell him be quiet.
you know what I
In the
mean.
back.
So I think that's a consensus on that. I wouldn't change much on the power rankings. You know what I mean.
I mean, so let's do the non-sports topic. I'm pretty sure Mark has had like a more serious topic, but let's just do something that's like not as serious. Let's just talk about did you your favorite? What's your favorite TV shows that's out right now?
Yeah, I think he had a topic, dealing with music or something like that. But you know,
We can still do both.
yo, you in there?
Yeah, I'm in here. I had background noise.
All right, I mean, we pretty much a consensus on the power rankings. I mean, we can move on to the not sports topic. I mean, if you
I
want to
was
get
saying, I was asking what's your favorite top favorite TV shows right now?
right now, well, one of mine, one of mine just went off. Snowfall. That was one of my favorite shows. That shit was, man. Franklin and them, they was on some shit, man. They was on some shit. Of course, all the power shit. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Kanan, Tariq, Tommy, all them niggas. All that power shit is right. Even the BMF niggas. So I'm definitely on to that.
Nigga said G Unit.
Yeah, 50 and them. Yeah, that shit is popping, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you ain't watching that power shit, man. You know, I don't know what country you living in or whatever. What planet you on, cause that power shit is popping. That power shit
Yeah,
is
Power
popping.
is definitely one of mine's. Like if I'm listening like shows that I watch and that that's real compelling. Yeah, all the powers, all the spinoffs of the Power, the Tommy, the Raising Canaan, all those all them coming all that stuff is really all them shows is good. And especially Snowfall. I came in toward the tail end the last two seasons of it. And just to see how the ending was, it was just like,
Yeah,
whoa. I was like,
I wasn't really too crazy about the ending, but I guess from everything that Franklin did, he couldn't come out on top. I mean, they couldn't have him be like a hero and walk away with all his loot and everything go right.
yeah,
You know what I mean? He did a lot of shit, man. He did a lot of dirt. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
he couldn't walk off into the sunset a hero. He walked off into the sunset, but his shit it wasn't the way he thought it was going to end. That's for damn sure.
you're right about that.
That was for damn
Only
sure.
only TV show I'm gonna put in there, that nobody's mentioned right now is The Godfather of Harlem. Like I was drawn into that. Like I started once I started the first season, started watching it. I was like, man, this is a real good ass show. For it's real, cause being Bumpy Johnson and all that, that was a pretty that show really got my attention. It really got my attention. Now,
The show I'm watching right now is the Vince Staples show. It's like only 5 episodes, but I've been watching it
Oh,
like
the joint that's on Netflix.
yeah.
Yeah, I watched that. That was pretty interesting. That was pretty interesting.
I'm a big fan of Vince Staples, like especially his music, like he dope. You know. But
Yeah, I
like
didn't know
his TV show was just like it was cool. It was cool to see like a comedy show like that. That's kind of like because everybody liked the LA stuff, so it's kind of like cool to see it. So I hope that it get more shows, like it
Excuse me. Excuse me
get
too.
more episodes, because
Oh,
they about to raise the price again. Netflix.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
I
always
guess
that's
because
always a whole.
Yeah, well, we all know who kicking out for that shit though. So let's move on.
You ain't lying. Man. That kind of segues us into like the non-sports topic of the night, music and the culture. Now, the first question I have to pose to you guys is: can we blame music for how the youth are acting?
Man, go
I
ahead, big
mean,
Q.
anybody,
Since you're a youth.
anybody. I mean, people is depend on what you're influenced by. I mean, want to get technical and get I say pause, get deep. You wanna like you could talk about frequencies and talk about stuff how people being manipulated, hypnosis, stuff like that. But no, morally it come down if you weak minded or not. Got to do with how easy drugs are accessible. You know, people doing drugs at the age of 8, 7, all the way up to they about 30, 40. You get what I'm saying? So people minds not fully developed. Then you got the food. People just minds not pure. You feel me? So some people don't even remember their dreams or dreams. So you get what I'm saying? People just out here living. You get what I'm saying? So it's just
Excuse me, man.
life about what you make it. But you can definitely music definitely plays a part though. Because the kids now they don't really got like nothing like positive that's mainstream. Like even kind of like the R&B and stuff, not really like the same. And like
Mm-hmm.
plus some people, just they not seeing they like the songs they see now is more like just negative.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, all
Like it ain't really like no Nas, no Kanye, like and all that type
yeah,
right now.
everything now is more explicit. It's more explicit as far as the language that they use and some of the subject matter. Is pretty much explicit. I mean, as far as influence in the youth, I mean, it depends. I mean, if you want to let some of that stuff they talking about, that shit that's not how they not really living that type of lifestyle. What I mean? They rapping about it. When it comes to rap, glorifying some aspects of, the culture. But that shit is not everybody is not living like that. What I mean? The average person is not living like that. You got, as far as, some of the things that these rappers are speaking about, but there are some that are living that lifestyle. What I mean?
Nah,
As
it's
far
I ain't gonna lie. You don't really be on social media. It's over with. It's fried. Like people be on Instagram live. Like I pull up right here and people do it right there. Like people do it on Instagram live. People like it's Facebook live. Like it's over with. Like like
yeah, I mean, like I said,
it's like on a
it
whole
does.
another level of stupidity.
Yeah, I
Like
mean, it
it's
does.
nothing.
Influence. Some people it's going to influence. What I mean, depending on who you are and how how you perceive it.
But
It's going
most of those
to
but
influence.
most of those people they getting and most of those people they're making an example out of. So
Yeah.
you know.
As far as the R&B, I mean that it's just some of the songs you know are more explicit than it was back in the day. They talk about the subject matter is right there in your face now. What I mean? It's no guessing to what they talking about. You know exactly what they talking about. As far as the lyrics and the songs and everything. But it's a lot of positive stuff that's out there as well. What I mean,
All
certain
right,
art,
so look.
you know, that are out there. What I mean, they put out positive stuff. What I mean, but
I still got a couple more
music,
questions. Put that up, yo.
but music is supposed to make you feel a certain way. It's supposed to make you feel energized. Mellow you out. Make you want to dance. depending on what you're listening to. You know what I mean? I like I'm
Yeah,
you know, I like jazz myself, you know what I mean? I like to listen to jazz.
yeah.
So go
Jonathan
ahead.
Butler. You put me on to
Yeah.
that. That now, the next question I got, Julius kind of touched on it just a little bit before I can even get to it. It was like, does it contribute to the opioid and drug epidemic? You know how pretty much these guys, that's all they really talking about in their songs, like how much drugs they doing and what drugs they doing, what they mixing together. You think that by music, these guys they're heavy influences to the masses. Do you think it's really like those their lyrics and everything is really contributing to like this epidemic that's going on as far as like people taking drugs the way that they do?
And I would just say it's just it might be that opioid epidemic been going on for a while now, as far as drugs and society, not just, African American society, but it's a society in general. So I would say, like I said, if you listening to that type of music, and that's what that type of music and influence your thoughts, then or you listen to the whatever particular person is using those type of lyrics, and you're a fan of that, that person, then you might want to what's the word I'm looking for? Emulate some of the things that they do, their lifestyle. But like I said, all that, just because they talking about that stuff doesn't mean they actually doing it. You know what I mean? They just, putting it out there, to get record sales or whatever the case may be. But some of it will influence them, I guess experiment with that stuff. And other people, have stronger wills that, you know, they won't do that. So I'm hoping that, for the most part, the youth or the people who are listening to that type of music, have strong enough, willpower not to even endeavor in that type of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, and you know, this is on a this is on a whole lot of a lighter note. What era of music was the best in your opinion?
Oh man, it's oh man. I mean, my generation, it probably was like, like the 80s and the 90s, man. There's a lot of positive R&B, a lot of positive rap, you know what I mean? So, I would say probably like the 80s and the 90s, you know what I mean? For me, it would probably be, because that's pretty much, the stuff I listen to as far as XM radio, the stations I listen to, it's like, from the 90s to the 2000s, you know, that's the type of music. Like I said, I definitely, you know, listen to the jazz, but, yeah, like the 90s would be it for me, between the 80s and the 90s would probably be it for me. You know what I mean?
If I'm a pick an era, I'm gonna have to do '90s too because it's kind of the era that I grew up in. About me being an '80s baby. I didn't get to really hear what happened in the '80s. There was like Prince and all them. Prince and young Michael Jackson and all those guys. But I ended up being a Michael Jackson fan.
Yeah.
But but if I'm gonna pick an era, it would have to be '90s, a little bit 2000s, because nowadays, with these guys, it's only a select few of those like guys, like just to name a few, like J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar, like you got your Drakes of the world. I mean, Lil Wayne, he's on a whole nother level as far as like where he used to be at. Like he was definitely one of those guys that was an influencer too. And then, but now you got if you're gonna mention like the newer guys that's out here now, like rapping and all that, they got all these like the NBA young boys, the T Grizzlies, the what's his name? Guys like Future and all these guys, they're influencing a whole nother culture, and that's why I had to ask the question about the drug epidemic, because a lot of those guys, that's what they're doing, fucking Future got a song where he's talking about like putting a Zanny in his putting a Zanny in his damn promethazine. Like it's crazy. Like he telling people like he's not doing that. Like you said, he's not taking those drugs like that. He's not mixing that stuff together. But you got people out here that's doing it thinking that it's cool, and then you got people that's overdosing and dying off this stuff. Like promethazine has taken a couple of our late greats. Like Pimp C was taken by promethazine. You got DJ Screw. You know, fucking Rick Ross almost died. He had a seizure. I mean, Lil Wayne right now is like the poster child for that right now. The promethazine, what it can do to you, and like by seeing that, you would think that people would try to like steer away from it because they see what's going on. But the whole thing about the sports and the culture is like, does music actually determine the culture and how it goes forward? Like, what do we have to like? Do we like when it comes to music? I wanted to if I was to be an A&R or lead of a record company, I would try to lean more towards those guys that are being more conscious and really saying something in their raps, because a lot of these guys, they rapping, I don't even know what they're saying. Now I get what y'all was saying, the older guys. Now I get what y'all was saying. I don't understand nothing these niggas is saying on these tracks. I don't understand nothing. Like they mumbling and all this, like, not really saying nothing. They not really rapping. I listen to Rock the Bells every morning. Listen to Rock the Bells and all that. Listen to those guys. Listen to the real rap. People forget about LL Cool J. They just forget about the Wu. They forget about guys like that. They forget about Big L, because Big L wasn't around that long, but he was great. Then you still got your Rakims and Eric B's. You got your De La Souls. Like you got a lot of guys that really put it on for how you should go about this. Tribe Called Quest. Like these guys really were doing a whole lot. But you don't got those type of guys no more. You don't got that type of music no more. So
Yeah,
you think that culture? You think that culture can ever come back?
I would think it'll come back. I mean, we can still, talk about it, and a lot of those guys that you mentioned, a lot of those, Run DMC, started this whole put the map, put like rap on the map, because they was the
Mm-hmm.
first group that kind of went like worldwide with the way they were doing their thing, and they influenced a lot of these guys that's out here now, like you mentioned, LL Cool J, Rakim, those type of guys like that. It's like the whole culture. They was like they started it, what I mean, as far as putting rap on the map, as far as making it kind of worldwide, or where everybody started listening to it. You had, had other, not just black people listening to rap, the white people started listening to rap, the younger, the white, their generation was listening to rap. And that was all because of Run DMC. They got a documentary on Peacock that, talks about their influence on the culture, and it's very interesting. So if anybody out there, some of you young cats want to go back and find out the history of how some of this rap stuff began and who influencing a lot of these rappers, go watch that documentary on Peacock. It'll enlighten you as to what, as far as the rap, what is going on today and how it got to this point. How right now is like rap is like worldwide, because they thought, back then they thought rap was a fad. It was just going,
Mm-hmm.
last a couple years and then it was gone. What I mean? It wasn't getting airplay. MTV. A lot of people don't. some of these younger kids don't have any, recollection of MTV, as far as they was the first pretty much station to play videos, but they weren't playing any black videos. You know what I mean? It
Mm-hmm.
was like, just rock and roll. You know what I mean? The record companies had to force them to play, their other artists other than just white artists. And like I said, Run DMC was a part of that, as far as them starting playing black artists. Well, Michael Jackson was the first one they put on there. You know what I mean? He was the first black
Yeah.
black artist to be on MTV, because they weren't playing any at all. So you just gotta go back and check the history. You know what I mean? But we've evolved. Music has evolved. A long way since back with Run DMC, before Run DMC. You know what I mean? To where we are now. You know what I mean? So it's music is a great thing. It's supposed to uplift your spirit. When you're
Mm-hmm.
listening to music, depending on what you're listening to. You know what I mean? So that's my take on it. You know what I mean? That's my take.
Yeah. I don't know where Big Jew at, but I was expecting him to jump in on this at some point. But just to like, since it, just to put a bow on it, it has I think it has a definite hold on the community in the culture. But as far as going forward, like you said, you gotta do your history. You gotta research your history. You gotta go back and see like where this all started, like the rappers delight and going back to those days, Grandmaster Flash, like these guys really paved the way for what you guys, as far as like what y'all guys got going on now. Because if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have this genre of music. Like but a lot of people like to say rap and hip hop are kind of the same, but it's I don't feel like they are. That you got rappers, then you got hip hop artists. Like if you're talking about a rapper, that would be like Tupac or somebody like that. But if you're talking about a hip hop artist, that's when you start talking about the Rakims, the KRS Ones, those guys like that. Do you think that is like that? I think that it got lost in the sauce as time went by. Like, do like hip hop and rap? Like, you think they just like try to just merge it all together? But it's not really a same. It's not really the same thing.
I mean, it depends on, what your outlook on. Some people consider like you said, some people consider some people or whatever they do as hip hop, some, rappers. But I think overall it's pretty much all, it's all meshed together. You know what I mean? And as time went on, it just kind of got, intertwined, because I mean that's what they call it now, hip hop. You know what I mean? Hip hop music. You know what I mean? It's not,
Mm-hmm.
some, and if they call it, it's either rap music or hip hop or the same. And people, look at it as one and the same. With I mean they don't they not necessarily wrong for looking at it like that. It depends on your perspective on it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, when I say, as far as some of the greatest rappers alive, I think of people like Tupac, Biggie,
Mm-hmm.
Rakim. You know what I mean? Even some of the, got Jay-Z, Nas, some of the, the best rappers of all time. People,
Mm-hmm.
they don't say, the best hip hop artists of all time. They say the best rappers of all time. You know what I mean? So there might be some distinction in there, but it depends on, your outlook or your perspective on it. But when I think about, the genre or rap and hip hop, I go with the rappers.
Mm-hmm.
Rum DNC, they were rappers. They was a rap. It was a rap. They were they might be considered hip hop artists, because it was three of them. You had Jam Master Jay on the turntables. Run.
Mm-hmm.
DJ Run and D Mac. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
depends. You know what I mean? And then some people call him lyricist. He was a great lyricist. They might say that about Tupac, Biggie. Because the lyrics they spit. Nas, they say that about him. Jay-Z.
Mm-hmm.
These are great lyricists when it comes to you spit KRS-One. You know what I mean? So it's like whatever your perspective is on it. You know what I mean? It's all good. However you look at it, it's all good. In my book,
Yeah.
it's all good. You know what I mean?
Well, that gives me like the question. You got five. You got five guys. Who you naming?
So, of course, Tupac was my favorite rapper of all time. So I got to put him in there. You got Biggie in there. I gotta give some light to Eminem. You know what I mean? Gotta give him a shout out. Nas and Jay-Z. That's my five right there. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Hey.
It don't have to be in, no particular order, but that's my five right there. You know what I mean? You rank them however you want to rank them, but like I say, Tupac was my favorite rapper of all time.
Yeah. Me, I gotta go with Method Man. Method Man's in my five. I can't leave Biggie out. I can't leave Biggie out. I can't Biggie and Pac, I kind of put them like together in a way. But one was a great storyteller and one was more conscious. But I gotta put Method Man up there because I feel like he was the best out of the Wu, like to me. And then I gotta go with Rakim and my fifth. Like it's hard. It's really hard, but I'm gonna go with my man Most Def.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
that's my five. You can rank them how you want to rank them, but I'm gonna have to go with that. Like,
We talking
Method
about the best
Man is
rappers ever?
No, you just
like
naming
no, it's just your
your top,
five.
your
Oh,
personal top five rappers.
yeah. I'm probably gonna go with
Here come
Lil Dirt,
Julio.
Lil Dirt, Jay-Z, um,
Okay,
Nas,
that's two. That's three.
Three.
I forgot
50.
about Nas. Oh, no. Oh, that's four.
And I probably go like Nipsey or Sue Surf.
Okay, you got respectable toward the end of that.
Yeah, I don't think
That like you said, it's your personal five.
right.
I wouldn't
But
even put. I
all
wouldn't even
time,
mention.
first the best rapper ever is 2 Chainz.
Come on, yo. You just put names out there. 2 Chainz ain't even in the top 20, yo.
I told you, here come Julio, yo.
Who had more hits in one year?
We ain't talking about no hits, yo. We ain't even getting into that, yo. We talking about as far as rappers who you like, yo. We ain't talking about. But 2 Chainz is not in the top 20, yo. Come on, man. 2 Chainz. Come on, yeah. 2 Chainz. Come on, yo. Come on, yo. I mean, you putting that controversy in there, yo.
Well, since you back, you got answer this question
Yo,
for me
put it.
though.
No, but
Since you talking about
put
two
that put
chains and all
put that
this,
put that question to the panel, to the folks, that's out there watching. Is 2 Chainz in the top 20 of rappers? You ain't gonna get. You might as well put
yeah, man.
what's your man? You might as well put DJ Khaled. Might as well say he in the top 10. Come on, yo.
Yeah, I gotta propose this question to you though, Big Jew, because you wasn't here when we was talking about it. What era of music would you say is the best in your opinion?
James Brown era.
Oh, you wasn't even born, yo.
Yeah, that's 60s.
Yeah,
You're in the 70s, yo.
That's that's 60s, right?
Yeah, 60s.
60s, 70s.
yeah, 70s.
Yeah, yo, you wasn't even born, yo. What you know about the 70s, yo?
You asked me what's the best generation of music. Like I said, the '70s. James
All right,
Brown, no man.
The best era of music. The best era of
Yeah,
music. In your
James
opinion,
Brown.
like what's your
James
best era?
Brown.
all right, yo. You saying the 70s,
The
yo.
James
60s,
Brown era.
70s. All right, yo. The Godfather
They
of
had some.
Soul. All right, yo.
Yeah. I can't disagree. I can't exactly disagree because a lot of the music
James
that
Brown
these guys.
said, please, 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 please.
Yeah.
Come
Yeah,
on,
he
bro.
said that a lot too. He said that a lot.
Come on, bro. Like,
Yeah, the
He
Godfather of Soul,
definitely
he's a
said
legend.
and
a whole lot.
that whole era of music had like it was popping for real. It had the rock, pop, the jazz,
Yeah.
all that. It was banging.
You
And then
had
you
you
had
had
the
some
then you
Shaka
had
Khan's in the '70s. Was Shaka in the
and that's when
'70s?
Yeah, it's like late 70s. See stuff doing stuff in the late 70s. You know.
Rufus.
Yeah, they was out there. You know. Yeah, they was
you
out
got
there.
you got the birth of like a hip hop about to emerge, like towards like the late '70s. So
Yo, that's
So you,
that runs I just talked about that, Run DMC was like put it on the map, put it out there where, the whole world was like started, to listening to hip hop more, rap music more when they can't, when they went big, you know what I mean? And I was talking about they got a documentary about them on the Peacock network, that, you know, people should check out. You know what I mean? Gives you a lot of, it's a lot of information on, some of the beginnings of rap, how they got their start and, their ups and downs and even how they formed the group, which ties into, when Jam Master Jay, he was murdered. They finally found the two guys that apparently killed him. They found them guilty today, so they looking at 20 years to life in prison. You know what I mean? And that's decades after he was murdered. They finally, gonna get some closure on that. You know what I mean? And like I say, they touch on all that stuff in that documentary. You know what I mean? It's pretty good viewing. If anybody got an opportunity to check it out, please do check it out. You know what I mean? But are we ending on this note, or
just
are
to
we going?
just to get this up real
yeah, we
quick.
can.
We gotta get this subject in real quick, just real quick, like just to get your words on this because what boxing matchups would you like to see? Right now, who should Canelo fight? Who do y'all think is the best pound for pound boxer right now? Out of you got Tank Davis and Terrence Crawford. Out of those two, who should Shakur Stevenson fight to get more respect? Like
Far
which
as
one?
pound, Paul's pound for pound right now is Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford. Carmelo. And Tank. They like the top three. But far as pound for pound right now, number one is Terrence Crawford, based on that performance he put on against Spence. I like to see Haney and Shakur Stevenson, get it on. I like to see that
Mm,
fight. I
mm,
mean,
mm.
I think Shakur right now since Tank got a fight, Evan got a fight. I think Shakur actually got a fight too, but I think Shakur should probably rematch that person who he had a bad performance against, or he should try to take, or he should fight like like a um like a tough component at 135. I don't really know nobody at 135 other than Tank, so he should try running with Tank.
no, I don't think they. I mean, they probably should fight eventually. But shit, Shakur could fight Lomachenko.
Yeah, he
Same
should.
person.
Yeah, I was about to say that. I was about to say that.
But I
Yeah, the
definitely
winner.
like.
He should fight the winner of Kambosos and Machenko. But
Yeah,
the pound for pound boxer right now, probably I'm gonna have to go with Tank because I think I think Ryan is what is probably like third, and I
no,
think
he
after
can't.
he beat Devin Haney, you gonna be it's gonna be cool to say that.
Yeah,
Like I
but
think this is gonna be the answer because I think it's between Tank, Terrence, Devin, Ryan, and Canelo Duck. So like I don't really know if he really half a pound the best. He turned down the deal to fight Benavidez, Charlo, to fight McGuinness with Matchroom, and
I was I was just
Matias.
about to say
Matias
that.
left, and
I was about
Matias
to
left
ask that question.
PBC.
Like,
Matias left PBC as well to fight with Matchroom Eddie Hearn. So a couple like of the big fights that could possibly happen. Like more fights, probably the big fights probably at like 140, and like so like no big fights probably gonna happen for real because he ducked Terrence Crawford too.
yeah, but up and
So he
up and
ducked like 3 fights for real just to fight somebody
yeah,
from
he
like
but
win.
he going that loop. But up until Terrence Crawford put on that performance against Spence, Carnelo was pound for pound the number one fighter in the world. I mean, and
I
then
mean he took a couple losses.
Once
So
Crawford put that put on that show against Spence, he overtook him. In a lot of people's eyes, in my eyes, he overtook Carnelo. As pound for pound number one. You know what I mean? And I think that's how they have him ranked right now. He's pound for pound, he's number one in the world. Carnelo probably right behind him. He in the top three at least. You know what I mean? And whoever you want to insert as that third one, then pick the
what do you
poison.
think about Tank Davis in this rehydration clause?
It's in this fight as
I'm
What
well.
y'all think about Tank Davis in this rehydration clause? But yeah, they want it in this fight.
Man, they need to
I
stop that.
mean
He fighting for the belt, man. They fight for his belt, right?
I thought it was no rehydration clause.
Yeah,
I
no,
got it.
that's
I
what he
got it.
want.
Well,
That's why they have.
he
That's why they haven't completely got an agreement. Like as far as like they haven't signed on the dotted line yet. Like
it's
they
not.
got
It's
Frank
not
Martin.
no
Man,
Frank,
I
what's his
think
name? Frank
I don't know this because I
yo.
mean that's
It's
the
not
only
no
thing.
catch weight
I
Frank
fight.
mean,
Martin. Yeah,
Tank not the
Frank
only
Martin.
fighter who
Yo,
had people. Tank not the only fighter who will be fighting on a rehydration clause, but it's just
this
saying
not
it's just a lot. It's just a
no
lot of
catch
fight.
weight
It's just a
fight.
lot of fights. It's just a lot of fights that
No,
happen
not.
with
It's
the
not
rehydration
like
clause that be like damn, like you never really know because
yeah.
they be
It's not.
drained. So it's just like he probably need to just take this like not do that the rehydration this time. Just
Yo,
fight
it's
at
not no lot of
135.
fight having no rehydration clause in it. It's not
I'm
no
talking
lot.
about I'm talking about it's been done in history. It's not the first time.
Yeah,
It's
it's been.
never
It's
been done.
yeah,
Like
but this week
multiple other all-time
the
Hall of
last
Famers have
last
had
fight the last fight he had rehydration.
rehydration.
And it was a catch weight. It wasn't for it was a catch weight the last time he fought. This is for his title at 135. So it shouldn't be that shit is yeah, okay. Hey now that shit is not happening. You know what I mean? That shit is not happening. Yo,
Yeah,
you fighting for your title at whatever you long
yeah,
once you
that's.
make
I
the
think that's the hang up right now as far as like them getting the deal done.
yeah, well you if that's the case he need to move up now. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's the hang up right now for them getting the deal done.
Yeah, well I would if I was Frank Martin, I mean I wouldn't do
Man,
that shit. Man. I mean, or if he do that shit, just pay the fine. Fuck it. And go out there and, do what you gotta do. I mean, if he come in, over the
yeah,
dehydration clause, all he wanna do is have to pay money. They're not gonna stop the fight. They're not gonna, postpone the fight because he came in,
Yeah, they
over
probably
the
would. They probably would because
no,
I mean
you
they don't
got
really. They never make the big fight happen. Like they always been in negotiation. They never make it happen because of the rehydration. Ryan, the only person who to accept it, but who's a big star, who's a big draw,
right,
like a potential face of boxing. He's the only person to accept that like
right,
that.
but
No other. Devin Haney didn't accept it. Matisse, none of those people who Connor Ben, none of those people like he like Tank asked for 2 Ferraris and he asked for a rehydration clause with the negotiations with them. Like people like nobody doing that. People want to see the real fight. People want to see fights. But all Tank trying to avoid is people doing drugs. You can look at Ryan and Devin Garcia and look and tell they roided up. You can just look at them and tell they look completely different. Not saying you're gonna look the same from when you look from 19 to 20, but you can just look at their face like they hella fat and all that. Like you can just see. I think Shakur probably ate on roids, but like you could just look at like run and fucking see they on vitamins, they on something. Like they not normal. They not so that's why he do the right rehydration. But you just gotta have a drug test and make sure whatever they on is cool and legal. But they got stuff now where it don't matter. Like it's stuff like where it can be undetectable in the drug test. So that's what the rehydration clause really is for. The undetectable shit that don't be detected is to protect themselves because he is short. He is at an advantage. So I get it.
Yeah,
But it just come a point in
it's
time
a
where
it's a
you gotta
big
put it all on the
organization.
line.
Yo, but this is the facts behind it. Yo, the weigh-in is the day before the fight. Okay, then whenever the day of the fight, that's when you know you put that weight back on. So the rehydration clause is if you come in over that weight, they're not going to postpone the fight the day of the fight. He's whoever goes over that weight will pay a fine and the fight will go on. The fight will not be postponed if the fighter comes in over that rehydration weight.
And it
Then
won't be for the belt.
exactly, but I'm saying the fight will not be postponed because of that clause. They'll pay a fine. That's what's in there. Now, depending on how much that fine is, either you gonna not want to pay it or you won't give a shit. You know what I mean? And then if when it comes to that, if you go in there and win the fight, then you'd have proved your point. You know what I mean? So, like I said, they're not gonna postpone the fight because the one of the fighters came in over that weight as far as rehydration. They're gonna pay a fine and the fight will still continue. You know what I mean? In a way the best man win. May the best man win. But that clause shouldn't even be included in the title fight. You know what I mean? They're fighting for his belt. That other fight was a catchweight fight. You know what I mean? As far as I know, the last
Yeah,
fight Tank fought was a catchweight. And that clause was,
right.
was renegotiated into that particular
I
fight.
think that I think that's really like a way to yeah. I think that's really like a way for him to abduct.
You know,
Yeah.
so well, but like I say, we'll see. We'll see.
Hmm.
But I hadn't heard
I
that
think
shit
it's really
until
like one of them things. Like he's just trying to play the game a little bit, like trying to play around with his mind a little bit because he doing
yeah. So like I said, I don't
yeah
know. Like
yeah
that was the
that's
first.
the hold up. That's the
Right, but
hold up
that's the
right
first
now.
time. That's the
The
first I
rehab.
heard it. That's the first I heard of that. So we'll see. Like I say, we'll see.
Yeah, yeah. And I got to do a little research on this Frank Martin cat. He's 17-0. Or he might be more. He might. I think yeah. He think he's 17-0. He's undefeated. He got 12 knockouts, and he looks like he got a lot of power. And he got I don't know about him about his boxing skills because it was more like highlights what I was watching, so I didn't actually get a chance to like sit down and watch one of his fights and see like how technical he is. Like, is he great? Is he a great boxer? Is he great with defense and anything like that? But I did see that he has a lot of knockout power. So I think this is going to be an interesting fight for Tank. You know, the dude like he's tall. Of course, he's bigger and like as far as like taller, but Frank Martin he doesn't really get much bigger than maybe like 140, if anything, maybe 138 or something like that. So, like you said, pretty much the fact of him having the rehydration clause is like it's kind of like asinine. Like why? But I understand. I get that he wants his money and all that, but it's just crazy. It's just a crazy thing that like that is holding up the fight. Like just get the fight done, man. That's all. Let's get this on the road. And then they got right now there's a whole thing going on with Garcia and Haney. And Haney trying to say that um 'cause no, Garcia wants the fight to happen in Vegas. Right
Right,
now they have it set in New York.
right,
And he really wants to get it moved to Vegas and he's trying to I forgot who's he's using somebody's Canelo. Canelo's promotion team. He's trying to get them to get the fight to Las Vegas.
Yeah,
And
PBC.
Haney, yeah, they try to get it to Vegas, and they were having a whole conversation on Twitter slash no X, formerly known as Twitter, and Haney pretty much trying to say that he's trying to duck him. I don't think that that's what's happening, but I just think that he wants to get the. I feel like Garcia wants to get the fight to Vegas so that it can be a greater pull and more money for him. That's what I think. I don't know if he. I don't like. Do you think that he's trying to duck him in any type of way? I don't feel like he's trying to duck him.
It doesn't make sense. They're both from the West Coast. So why would you have to fight all the way on the East Coast? It doesn't make sense. Just put the fight in Vegas and let's get on with it, man. It's a bunch of bull. It's a bunch of bullshit. You know what I mean?
I mean, there's a bunch of fights going on in Vegas because you probably got Jim, you probably got Tank, probably ready for a fight. Maybe in Vegas in June. You got Canelo ready fight there in June. I mean May. And you probably got
they fight they fight is set for April 20th.
Yeah, but it's a bunch of who going to spend thousands of dollars to come to Vegas 4 times in a row.
Believe it, they going to do it
4 times in a row.
Man, they going to do it. If people want to see the fight, they going to do it. I mean, that shit. Like I said, it's a bunch of bullshit. They both from the West. They both from the West.
So people just trying to do the best they can do. It's not like they doing it because they don't want to do it in Vegas. It's just you gotta think about the business. Like it's 4 or 5 fights, big fights about to happen. It's all in a row. Not even talk about Terrence and Spence rematch.
It's not actually.
They already they said it's not happening. New York.
The fight is going.
Terrence already been saying that it's going to happen. It just ain't been announced.
Brooklyn. The fight will be in Brooklyn, where the Nets play. That's where the fight is going to be.
Well, I've heard from a source that but I've heard from a source about the Terrence Crawford and Spence rematch. I'm hearing that that's not going to happen.
Yeah, they say
I'm hearing that it's not going to happen. It's from a real good source. That's all I'm gonna say. Like they said that it's supposed to. Of course, it's in the it's a clause in the contract, but it's like because of him being with his injuries and all that stuff, that orbital injury and all that, Crawford gets a chance to fight somebody else before he has to fight him. Before he has to do his the rematch with Spence. Because by the time Spence heals up, Crawford gonna be sitting out for a whole another year, man. And he got he just fought. What was that? Last year that they fought?
Yeah, I mean, I said they was gonna fight. I never said it was gonna be this year. That's why I was getting to the point. Yeah, I was trying. That's what I was trying to say. I was trying to say Terrence Crawford still got to fight.
Yeah,
he probably going 54 because he's definitely in the gym. So you still got a bunch of fights to still. Yeah, you still got Jerron Boots. So, and you still got Keith Thurman and the Charlo brothers. So, and the PBC still trying to figure out what they're trying to do. So you don't know. And PBC probably got the biggest, probably the biggest draw in Tank. So you don't know.
Right. You think Canelo should fight Benavidez and just call it a day?
Probably. I mean, he probably is gonna wind up fighting, but it's not gonna be on PBC though. So it does depend on what Benavidez is gonna do, because depending on if he's gonna go try to make the fight happen with Eddie Hearn and all that on the zone and all that type of stuff, make it happen over there. But it's probably not gonna happen on the Amazon thing because Showtime is over with, or you don't know. Maybe they might come back, but right now. And we don't know how the Amazon stuff going to play out with the Rolly fight. Rolly and Keith Thurman, Tim Tszyu, they fight March 15th. So still a bunch of stuff trying to see how that go. So you never know. And you can always bring HBO back, Showtime come back. You never know. But right now it's up Eddie Hearn got the ball and Top Rank. So because Top Rank throw events all the time, they just had a bunch of boxing events. So boxing is still thriving. It's just like the big fights, the major fights, not really that many. And Tank probably got the biggest fights left. But it just depends on who out of that Tank, Shakur, Devin Haney. It depends on who show that they the best out of that four. Then you got the young guys like Abdullah Mason, Kid Austin, other young prospects. Bang Williams. And you still got AB trying to make a comeback at 140. So because with Devin Haney, Adrian Broner was about to fight Regis Progress
And
before Devin Haney. So
Brown.
stuff. There's a bunch of stuff going on, especially at 140. So you got T.O., you got the Matias with Eddie Hearn. So but they don't really cross promote like that. Devin Haney probably the only fighter to be cross promoting, making stuff happen. It's similar to Ryan. They probably the only two fighters that make two companies combine. Because you probably can see that Ryan and Tank on the Zone too as well, or that Golden Boys platform. So just depend on what companies gonna come together. Promotion companies gonna come together and make these big fights happen, or is players or people gonna leave. Like is Tio gonna leave Tyrone, Shakur gonna leave Tyrone to make these big fights happen, or they gonna be free agents like Devin Haney to sign one fight deals. Is Devin Haney gonna be a blueprint for all these new fighters just to sign one fight deal so they can always be available to make the big fight happen? Instead of always taking a 3-fight deal or 2-fight deal to be locked in, and you miss out on the opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
You just want to take it just fight at a time.
Um,
But maybe you do got to earn that right though, because boxing is so many different belts, so many different rankings. You got a bunch of different guys who who number 2 or 3 in the rankings who really like that, like a Hitchens, and like a Kid Austin or somebody, but they just missing a couple fights. But it ain't that many, ain't that many, ain't that many ways for them to get them big fights though. People be ducking. Motherfuckers, it's not that many people don't really want to take the high risk for the
right.
low money. Like Frank Martin, they never make $1 million. And he turned down the Shakur fight maybe because he knew that the Tank fight was gonna happen and Tank had the legal problem. So all that stuff trying to be figured out, and Tank trying to be the bully. If he can get away with doing the rehydration clause, why wouldn't? But I'm pretty sure that he really don't give a fuck. It's just more so the people trying to protect the investment because Tank is a big draw. So if you can keep it all under the scenes and he keep making it easy for him to knock people out, but I mean, cause I don't want to say easy, it's just that he's used to the rehydration, so he's probably able to make the weight and keep his strength. Other people not used to doing that, so that's probably their first or second time going through some shit like that, so they're not used to it, so they're gonna be drained. You get what I'm saying? So he's just taking advantage of that. But it's not like he's not going through the same shit or gotta do the same thing, but it's just that he used to it. But it's just like you gotta be a dog, you gotta dog it out. Cause I ain't gonna lie, at the Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney, they dogging it out. Ryan Garcia made the fight happen with Tank, took all the negotiations, and Devin Haney be fighting everybody put in front of him. He ain't never really ducked nothing. He came undisputed before everybody fighting Ryan. They getting it on, and there ain't no rehydration clause with them. Go look at the motherfuckers, man. Them motherfuckers juiced up. Where we motherfuckers juiced up.
Allowed in my father's house at all. At all. We deserve free everything. At least if you're not going to give us reparations by money, give us reparations in fruit.
Chris Paul, I'm in the gym, nigga.
Yeah. Yeah. I gotta shout out some stuff real quick. There's some things that have happened. It just, that need to be said. The Chicago Bears hired Jennifer King as the offensive organization's history. So, that's a monumental thing. Put that out, just give her a shout out, Jennifer King. But like he said, he in the gym. Chris Paul, he looking out for you. We got V Will right there. Appreciate him. Appreciate y'all for coming out here, seeing us tonight. This is Not Another Sportscast, episode 11. Thank you again.
Allowed in my father's house at all. At all. We deserve free everything. At least if you're not going to give us reparations.